Good morning and welcome to another Monday morning messages. Of course, we want to be able to try to provide an opportunity to get information to all faculty members in a way that hopefully allows you the time to really sit down and view this message and more importantly, glean from it the information that we're trying to get across from an administrative team. Obviously, with the solar eclipse today, there's a lot of emphasis being placed on safety, which certainly makes a lot of sense. There are certain protocols that are in place that we obviously are asking you to follow. We've been, of course, via email, getting that information to you via Dr. Val Smith, also myself. And also we've had some other teachers, and thank you, by the way, getting information to the rest of us in an effort to make sure that this day goes off without any glitches, if you will. It's very imperative that, again, you do follow the protocol. Certainly there was an email sent on Friday of last week wherein we asked that we have just a normal school day until fourth block. And then, of course, during fourth block, we will bring sack lunches to your class. So be patient. We will get those all-important sack lunches to you. And then more importantly, we want to make sure that you stay in fourth block for the balance of the day. And I know, goodness gracious, that's a lot of time. And what we do is we ask that you, if you can, to pull up on your computer and then send it through your projector, maybe CNN. Some other news outlets that are covering the eclipse. It can be a very informative, more importantly, a great learning tool to talk a little bit about, the Earth, the sun, the moon, and all the stars in between, right? So that being said, again, we just want to make sure that safety is paramount. Now, if students do want to check out after third block, that Dr. Pouncey has certainly allowed for an excused checkout. So we certainly want to keep that in mind as well, and making sure that those students get to their respective destinations, because the window, my understanding, based on the prognosticators, I'll get it out here in a minute, is that from 12 to 3 o'clock window, with 1:30 being the most, heightened time of this eclipse. Prep staff, in lieu of this event, is going to be postponed, and certainly we will be getting with you in the very near future in an effort to get this rescheduled so we can get some face-to-face time in an effort to try to make sure that we get things covered in a way that is very imperative. And speaking of some of the things that we want to cover, certainly as RTI, you were given a parent contact form via Google Docs. We want to make sure that you are, in fact, documenting that you're reaching out to parents and that you're trying your absolute very best in an effort to make contact and then be able to create a plan. I always feel like that our students have the best opportunity for success when we have a parent and a teacher working collaboratively in an effort to ensure the success of that student. So make sure that you're following, again, proper protocol and policy, as we must certainly go through the referral process of RTI if students are experiencing certainly academic attendance and behavioral issues and deficits. We want to make sure that we jump on front of that and give these students certainly the support and resources that they need to be successful. I know many of you have tried to get logged on to Educate Alabama, and we certainly want to make sure that you are able to do so. We obviously we want to make sure that you have done your due diligence in an effort to complete your self-assessment. Certainly, that's the first part in this. And then when we meet as staff during prep staffs, we will talk about selecting the indicators that you will look at in terms of your professional learning plans. So keep that in mind. And also keep the timeline for the self-assessment. I'm going to ask that you have it done by this week. I think the timeline gives you to September 1st, but unfortunately, you know how things can kind of pile up. So if you keep it on the forefront and go ahead and start working through there, then you'll have the thing completed before too long. Visibility, that's another point that I want to talk about, is you have to be visible during transitions. I'm beginning to see a lull of students making it from one class to another. And if you're out there and you're certainly directing their path to where they need to go, then certainly we want to make sure that they get there. And if you can assist us in that effort, we greatly appreciate it, because there's too much, should I say, hanky-panky, and we got to do a better job of getting these kids to and from classes. We don't want tardiness to start racking up. And by the way, we're going to start tracking tardy, and we're going to ask that you put those tardies in, because if they can't get to class on time and they accumulate that fourth tardy, then what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and give them a quick visit to ISD, and then maybe that will get their attention, we hope. Fire drill will be tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. Again, fire drill tomorrow at 10:20 a.m. Please make sure that you have your folders, so when we get outside, we can all have green, hopefully. That's the hope. And then, of course, we certainly want to return back to class as quickly as possible. Certainly, AFT will be here tomorrow at 8:30, and we want to make sure that you get your AFT goodie bag. So make sure you get by there and visit the good old friendly folks from AFT. We will be doing observations, and I say we, referring to administration. You should have seen us in the class or your classrooms over the balance of previous 7 days, and we're making it a point to be in the classrooms to make sure that you know that you have the support that you need, and that our students know that administration is there also to support them as well. And let me show you real quick. These are the Google Forms or the Google Docs. This is hard copy, but this is certainly thanks to our good friends in technology. They have been able to load this on the Google Drive. And so what we're able to do now is to go into your classroom via maybe something as simple as this device, and to be able to certainly log in, and more importantly be able to show exactly from our vantage point what we've observed. And certainly we're looking at literacy, numeracy, looking at the state standards, looking at classroom environment, how engaging is it, how engaging are the students, teacher behavior, certainly student behavior, and what are the artifacts? What evidence in your room that's not living and breathing show and indicate that we have very intentional learning targets, and more importantly, outcomes. So that being said, certainly know that these are the things that we're going to be looking for and discussing as we have an opportunity again for prep staff, and more importantly, some face-to-face Q&A time. Ms. Hyatt is going to roll out the LDC and MDC trainings as well. She'll be covering that through the PLCs in addition to Tech Tuesdays. Thank you so much, Ms. Hyatt. She's working feverishly in an effort to make sure that everyone has all their technological needs met. So that's very, very crucial and very important, to be able to get information disseminated in a timely fashion. So I think that's it. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to reach out to administration, and we will be more than happy to try to address those questions or concerns. Certainly, we're off to a phenomenal school year. Only 180 more days, teaching days, that is, left. So if you're one of those folks who like to keep track, there it is. But I can promise you one thing: you want to stay in front of what we're doing here, making sure your modules and your lesson plans are in place, and don't just plan, on a weekly basis. If I were you, I would be looking to try to bundle and putting 2 and 3 weeks together in an effort to make sure that you give yourself an opportunity to really teach those all important lessons through very meaningful activities. And then more importantly, take time to reflect on what you're doing so you can see the growth and the evidence that what you're doing is making an impact. Again, we thank you. We certainly could not be here without the hard work that you guys do every single day, and we thank you again for that. That being said, as always here at Pinson Valley, we will continue to promote achievement, respect, and success. Have a blessed week.